Welcome to We Live on a Floating Rock podcast. I am Max Van Otterdijk, traveler, filmmaker, wannabe influencer. And on this podcast, I am interviewing exceptional individuals who are making the most of their time on this earth. If you want to support, you can give me a follow or you can purchase some clothing in the link below. Hope you enjoy. What is up, everyone? My name is Max Van Otterdijk. Welcome back to the potty. We have
Grayson Pogue,
the one and only
Jake Carter,
Grayson, Pogue. They are yell leaders this year and next year for Texas A&M. And if y'all don't know what a yell leader is, do y'all want to describe, like, for someone that doesn't go to A&M and knows nothing about A&M or the culture, what is a yell leader?
Yeah, so Texas A&M, we don't have cheerleaders, unlike most schools. We have something called yell leaders, and the reason that way it is because A&M started out as an all-male military school, and so from that, there was 5 freshmen that went on the field, and they got the crowd hyped up, and that's kind of how we got started. A lot more to that story, but that's a little intro.
Something unique about yell leaders, we don't do like a tryout or anything. We're actually elected by the entire student body, similar to the student body president would be at most schools. We're one of the 5 of us are part of the 6 people elected by the student body, so that makes us stand out.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So yeah, you said like you're elected, so you do a campaign, and that's actually how we met.
Yeah.
We met like 2 years ago. So how I know them is through I shoot the 5 for Yell videos, hype videos, and hype. So yeah. So y'all tell like what 5 for Yell is and kind of the whole process of campaigning and all that.
Yeah. So 5 for Yell is the team that we put together as members of both the Corps of Cadets and as yell leaders. We're both of us, Jake and I, are in the Corps of Cadets. If you don't know what that is, it's a military type organization here at Texas A&M that stems back from the very beginning of the school. And we believe that as yell leaders, we should be part of that because that's just traditionally how it's been, and we understand the traditions and we want to push that forward. So organizing 5 for Yell, the 2 of us who were yell leaders last year, we'd run a process within the Corps of Cadets to pick the 3 new guys that we want also to get elected.
What is that like? Like, how do you?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that try for 5 for Yell. What's like?
Yeah, it's a long process. It's a tedious process for sure, but the reason why it's built that way is because it kind of shows what the life and yell leaders like in our busy schedules. So, I mean, at the first meeting that we had, there's probably a couple hundred people out there for our first meeting, and then they kind of realize how much it's going to entail, and they're like, I'm okay.
Pretty wild.
So you go from like 300, 400 to 3 new people.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy that y'all got picked too.
Yeah.
Seems like forever ago and also a day ago. But
yeah, I remember when I met Grayson for the first time. I'm an E1, which is part of the Army, and Grayson is an E2, which is part of the Navy. So I transitioned from my military class in the Army because I didn't want to be out in the field. So I went to his class and I met him, and it was this it was fall semester of sophomore year, and then we both went out for 5 for Yell. And I was like, I kid you not, I was like, man, it'd be so cool. It's like, man, this kid is a quality guy, and if we both got it, and before we knew it, we both got it, so it's really cool.
Yeah, that was something the exact same for me. They asked us in our interview for 5 for Yell, like, who do you want to do this with? And I said Jake, and Jake said me, and that's how it worked out.
Here we are.
Pretty cool story.
There we go.
That was good.
What was the moment you were like, oh, crap, I'm going to be with you like every day for the next 2 years? That's what I would think.
Oh.
Yeah.
The summertime is when you're the only people you're hanging out with is the other yell leaders pretty much, and you grow really close to them whether you like it or not, and luckily we liked it. We had a lot of fun together, but that time you're just not doing school, you're just focused on yell and you're focused on the guys around you, and we realized that like we work well as a team and we want to spend time together. So
that's super cool.
Yeah.
So take me through the 5 for Yell. So once you get elected to be on 5 for Yell, you're basically like not automatically going to be a yell leader, but like 5 for Yell is the campaign team that usually wins.
Right.
When does it hit y'all that like, oh, I'm like, crap, I'm going to become the next yell leader? Or like, is there a moment where you're like, oh crap, like what did I sign up for?
Yeah, I mean, so kind of going off what you said, Max, I mean, historically, like Grayson said, people come from the Corps to be yell leaders. So I remember the night that we heard our names got called, and I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Not like that. I was like, this is real. Like, it really hit me. I'm like, it's not processed. Like, now the work begins.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right after, because that all happens in the fall of sophomore year. And then the spring, you're campaigning. Our campaign team of like 25 people. I mean, it's a whole production you got to put on. So, I mean, that's why 5 for Yell does so well, is we put forth such a great effort that no one wants to go against the beast of 5 for Yell and the machine that it is. So, I mean,
there we go.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of when it hit me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'll go off that, but like even I think once you do get elected, once you hear your name called, it doesn't even hit you until later down the road. Like you put those whites on for the first time and you definitely feel like an imposter. You're like,
yeah, what is it like putting the whites on?
Dude, it's like
the whites are there basically are the Yell Leaders uniforms.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah.
but like you put that uniform on and you're like, man, like I've seen people do this my entire life and like now I'm wearing this. Like this doesn't feel right, but it takes some getting used to. I think the first time I felt like, wow, this is like who I am was, you know, going into Kyle Field for the first football game and getting to lead the Spirit of Aggieland in front of the whole crowd, like 100,000 people singing it with you. That's when it was like, okay, like I'm here, I can do this. Like it's pretty awesome.
That's crazy. Yeah, later on I'll ask you about like what a game day is like.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the 5 for Yell video and what that's like, since that's how I know
That's
y'all.
your cup of tea.
That's my cup of tea. So I shoot a 5 for Yell video for them every year. I try to make it the most just like badass production,
Which it is.
and they don't pay me, which they should pay me, but they don't pay me for these videos. But they take me to dinner or something, which is nice.
Don't worry, we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Okay, thank you.
It's
It's
coming.
coming.
I have a crazy story, bro. I'm shooting videos for Ted Cruz because of 5 for Yell videos.
No
Actually-
way. Okay, dude, that's the payment, right?
Yeah,
So,
it is the
okay.
payment. This girl DM'd me. She's like, "Hey, I work for Ted Cruz's campaign team. Like, I just saw your 5 for Yell videos. Like, would you want to be his campaign like video guy for his?"
Dude,
like,
that's wild.
yeah. So,
Oh my god.
thank God for that.
That's
So,
awesome, Max.
Yeah,
Congrats.
but they don't
Come
pay me,
on
but,
up, doing big things.
Yeah. So this year we did 5 for Yell video, and we were in Kyle Field for like 10 hours straight. So, and 10 hours with these guys is a long 10 hours.
It's a long 10 hours.
Yeah, but it's pretty funny because we're like shooting you. I'm like shooting you and these lights and stuff, and you're just like, I'm like, okay, get hype, and you're like, oh crap,
Yes.
like what do I do? Like you need to get as hype as possible, like by yourself. It's so. Tell me more about, or like I love it when I have the camera on you and you're like, let's go Ags, and like
Yeah,
let's do
no, I'll
this.
touch on that real quick because I mean, doing it this year for the second time is easier because I mean we've been Yell Leaders and like that's what we do now. But
Yeah.
especially because like the guys they're getting elected, so they're in their core alphas, which is our nice uniform. So they're like they feel so awkward, and we're like we're in the background. We play their favorite hype song, and we just all get hype, and then it kind of how it rolls, I guess.
Yeah, I remember the first year y'all were like about to go, so they each individually like shoot their own like hype scene. And then Jake goes up and he like does it, but like he hasn't been a Yell Leader yet, so you're like let's go, like you're just so quiet. And then Trevor's like, oh, he was like, boys, come here, and he gave y'all a pep talk. He's like, you're in Kyle Field, like you're here, like
He did
we
do
chose
that.
you for a reason.
Yeah.
And then you just came back out and you're like, let's go, like you went crazy. And I was like, damn, that must have been a good speech. But it is awkward filming, especially for 10 hours. By the end, we're just pooped.
Yeah. This year was super fun though, like Max coming to us with that idea that you had. I
Yeah.
guess it was, if you haven't seen the video, you should definitely go watch it. But Max came to us this year with, a story that he wanted to make out of our campaign video. And it was a lot different than, the one we had done the year before, but it was a lot more fun. I think, kind of telling the story of how the Yell Leaders came to be and, just being able to share that history with everybody. And I thought that was a super cool idea.
Yeah, I
So-
wanted to make it unique because this would have been my third video. So I was like, crap, what do I? Y'all came to me like, hey, can you do our video again? I was like, I can. I need to think of a unique idea. I don't want to do the
I
same
think This
thing.
is the best one.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, just
So,
the story.
yeah.
If they ask me to do it again next year, I'm gonna be like, I need some another
it's up
story.
to y'all to decide what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Sweet. So let's go into 5 for Yell. You get elected. What's the first thing y'all do as Yell Leaders? I know isn't it like big event or something like the
Yeah, I'll
first.
speak on that because Grayson actually just went. He was at the NCAA tournament for
Ooh.
women's in Oregon, hiking mountains and having a great time. And anyway, I stayed behind this year because I had a speaking engagement back home, and I stay with the new guys to get elected, and that's their first event that we do is big event. So
Describe big event for people that don't know.
so
in like
big
a
event
10-second.
is the largest student-run. What would you say, like
Service project.
service project
Yeah.
in the nation, and I mean thousands, probably. I don't know how many people they had this year, like over 8,000.
Yeah, it's a
Something
lot.
crazy. Come together and we serve the College Station Bryan community. So they have a big opening ceremony with food and a lot of entertainers. The president comes out. Let's see, Coach Elko was there this year.
Yeah.
So we come out at the very end and we kind of get everybody hype and we do a couple yells. They'll lead a yell practice. So that for me, that was, I guess, when it really became real. Was leading the Aggie War Hymn at the end of that and just seeing everybody swaying back and forth, and you're the guy up there, like you are the guy.
You're him.
You are him. Or you are him with 5 other guys by you.
You are them.
One of them.
You were one of them.
You are they them.
So
Yeah. Have you ever like messed up a yell? Like your first like epic event? You ever mess up?
100%.
Absolutely.
Oh,
What's like
dude.
the worst mess up you've ever done? Whether it's been a yell, football game.
I think the hardest part, and something that we both happened a couple times to us, was just being at basketball games or even like a couple soccer games, something.
Yeah.
You know, you're all the way across the court or across the field,
Uh-huh.
and you can't see the head yell leader who like starts the yells, right?
Yeah.
And you just completely miss it, you know. So the crowd is doing the yell, you know, but you're not leading the yell. It's kind of weird, but like
You want to describe like how so y'all watch?
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a whole like y'all like spies watching
It's
each
a system,
other.
bro,
Seeing
yeah.
like describe the system of how like y'all are all doing the same thing.
Right. So it's probably one of the questions you get asked the most. Is like, how do y'all do it? Like in Kyle Field, where everything's going on in the game. Like, how are y'all always in sync? People have conspiracy theories that we have like earpieces in our.
Y'all
in our
should.
ear. We don't. We don't.
theories.
So I mean, it's all off the head yell leader. So he's the one that starts the yells, and we always join in the yell. So I mean, as a yell leader, you always have to be on your feet because it's hard because everybody wants to talk to you, and you're kind of have to be engaged, but you also have to have your eye on the head yell leader to make sure. Like for me in Kyle Field, I can't see Trevor, so I'm always watching Thomas. So if I messed up sometimes, that's because sometimes Thomas is off beat, and sometimes I was off too. But like, I guess it's the easiest yell to get off on is locomotive, and
Hey, show us.
yep.
I'm just kidding.
It's the one that builds up. So it's like raw.
Oh, that's my favorite. The
Yeah.
rah rah.
Everybody loves that one.
I always tell
Everybody
y'all
loves
do
that
it for the video. I'm like, okay, rah rah.
one.
Okay,
Rah, rah.
rah.
But anyway, it's easy to get off that because sometimes the crowd goes faster than the yell leaders,
Oh yeah.
but you can't go faster because then everybody gets off beat.
Uh-huh.
So that's probably kind of difficult. But
Y'all are like composers. I feel like composing the crowd, and
It's a work of art.
it is a work of art. You're like Beethoven out
day.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because whenever I see y'all at football games, I'm like, oh, what's up? And like we're always talking, but I always see you like, oh, Max, like, how's your day? And like you're like keep like looking back and forth, like you have like
kinda
crazy
jumpy.
ADHD.
Yeah, for sure.
Good
It's
times.
like what yell is. It's just ADHD with white uniforms. pretty
Yeah,
much.
but
Yeah.
I mean, as a yell leader, I mean, one of the most important things is like a football game and leading the yells at a football game. Take me through like a game day for yell leader. What is it like running out with the football team, and just like what is that feeling? I feel like no one else can describe that feeling. No one else has the opportunity just to be one of the first people run out with the football team, and everyone's roaring, like especially at Texas A&M where football is such a big deal.
Dude, that feeling is crazy. And you know, game day for us like starts 4 or 5 hours beforehand. You know, we're getting dressed and stuff about, you know, like I said, 4 hours before, and then we go up. We have something called Kids Yell, which is where, you know, parents can bring their little kids, and we go out and right in front of Kyle Field and do like a little yell practice with them and allow them to actually like pretend to be yell leaders and lead the yells to the crowd. It's really fun, you know. And then we'll go over and do spirit walk, and you know, the dance team and the band and all the football players will walk into the stadium there. That's super cool, getting to like just see them step off the bus and like they're all in their game day fits with the headphones on and stuff. You get to watch them like walk into the locker room, and then finally like it's time for us to go get ready for game time, you know. And then I'll let you take it from there.
yeah, I mean, so both of us played high school football.
Hey,
I
what
was a
position?
I was kicker, punter. Okay, I'm not a big guy.
Quarterback.
Okay, quarterback
Oh,
over here.
you're a
Okay,
quarterback?
okay.
I was, yeah.
Dang.
He's good too. He's good.
You go out there.
He could. Anyway, so I would say like the feeling is like running out of the tunnel for the guys that play football in here are listening. It's like
The whole football team is watching right now.
Yeah. When you will watch, but it's like running out of the tunnel, but it's like that on steroids because you have over 100,000 people like looking at you, but like when there's that many people, it's just like a blob. That's
Yeah.
what it is. I'm like just a blob everywhere, and like it's there's no feeling like it. It's probably my favorite thing is doing the run out and also doing the Spirit of Aggieland.
Mhm.
It's so much fun. You see like I guess you know, the coaches come out and the players and the 12th man. It's like St. Matthews would be like holding the flag, and they would start running out, and that's your cue, and you got to go.
Mhm.
And then everybody just starts going wild, and then we go straight into yells. So, or we go into the war hymn.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
That's like my favorite part of a football game is just like the hype, the pre-hype before like
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
game
my
actually
favorite
starts.
part.
Yeah.
And then y'all just lead it all, so y'all are killing it. Was there any time you like messed up a yell like at a football game or like running out? Have you ever like tripped or?
No, not too bad. I know that there have been in the past a couple, but I think we did pretty good this year. Hopefully we'll keep our record clean next year.
What's like a funny story of y'all messing up? Like whether it's we'll get into midnight yell later, but like do you have a funny funny story? What's your most embarrassing story or funny story?
Man.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Put me on the spot here. I went to this. Been any big embarrassing moments, which is a goal. You don't want to have any big embarrassing moments to yell leader. But there are small things. So like kind of going into midnight yell. So we do midnight yell. For those of you who don't know what midnight yell is the day before the football game. We gather in Kyle Field, or we even do it for away games, and all the Aggies come in and we get the crowd hyped for the game the next day, and we tell fables, stories to kind of make fun and poke fun at the other team. So the fables going into that, so we make all those fables by ourselves, and they're all original, and we make those in the summer, and then we usually learn them the week of. But sometimes, it's intimidating when you're speaking in front of those many people.
I bet.
And like sometimes, you lose your train of thought. And I remember it was one time. Wait, Grace knows what I'm talking about. So we do a punchline. So we lead off with the joke.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember what the joke was. It was something with an animal.
It was, yeah.
And I don't know what it is. And I forgot the animal.
He forgot which animal
it was
supposed to
So I
be.
just said coyote.
Which made no sense in
It
context.
made no sense, but I kept rolling with it. I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just say? But anyway.
Tell them about your battles with the mic cords at away games.
Oh my gosh, yes. Which game was that?
That was like multiple.
That Florida.
Miami, yeah.
So, yeah. Well, so usually when we speak, we have, cordless mics because we kind of pace back and forth.
Yeah.
First time. This is my first. It actually was my first time giving a speech at a midnight yell. It was at some random bar, probably about 200 people there, and I kept getting tripped over this cord, and it kept messing with me. And there was a point in my speech I went blank. But I was like, everything went blank, and I just kind of looked down, took a breath. And then it came back to me, and I kept rolling with it. But that does happen.
Oh, this cord was getting like wrapped around his legs, and like I thought he was gonna fall. I was kind of worried, but
he got through.
He got through. He did good.
What's like a midnight, like an away midnight yell? Like how many people show up? What is that compared to a midnight yell here?
It depends. Like he was saying, the one in Miami was pretty small. I mean, there's a couple Ags there that'll come out, a couple that traveled. The one that's really cool is when we play Arkansas up in Arlington. We get to do it in the stockyards in Fort Worth. And I'd say there's like thousands of people there. It's like full. You look out the stockyards if you've ever been there, and there's thousands of people. It's a super cool one.
That's crazy.
Outside of that, like the Tennessee one was pretty good. I think we had maybe 500. That was pretty cool.
That's a lot.
So the Ags, no matter where they are, they show up.
There's usually imposters too from the other team that come and try to
Yeah, there's some people trying to crash it for sure.
So we're really excited this year for the TU game. Which for those
we'll
who
get
don't
into
know,
that too, but that's gonna be crazy.
The University of Texas, but they're not the University of Texas, so that's why we call them TU. But I guess we'll get into that later. But yeah.
That's fun. And also midnight yell, y'all bring dates, right?
We do bring dates.
That's the goal, at least.
The goal.
Yeah.
Hey, tell me more about, because I feel like as a yell leader, I mean, girls are always watching. I feel like, because when I look at y'all, like I remember when I was a freshman, I was like, oh my gosh. Like I would see a yell leader. I would go to breakaway and I would see a yell leader and be like, oh my God. Like I would tap my friend and be like, that's a yell leader right there. Like y'all are like celebrities around Aggie land. So how's the girl
Grayson,
situation?
You can start with this one.
Yeah, I know Grayson, you've told me some stories. Grayson?
Wait, real quick, tell them the story when you're on the quad.
Oh, dude, okay. Yeah, so going into that, there's been some interesting times. I sophomore year, I was Reveille's handler, and we'll get into that, I'm sure. But,
yeah.
yeah.
About that
was an interesting time in my life, because people were always trying to find Reveille, and, I'd have some people that I would see, like, a little too often. I'm like, why do I keep running into you? And then I realized they're like, oh, they kind of know my schedule. Like, this is weird. Like, they're following me. Okay, and then, that kind of culminated this year. I live on campus in my dorm, part of the Corps of Cadets, and I'm sitting in my dorm. My window faces, like, all the dorms.
You've told me this story.
Yeah, dude. It's wild.
This is a good one.
My window faces like the freshman dorms, I guess, where all the freshmen live. I was just sitting there studying, minding my own business. The window was cracked open. It was such a beautiful night. I wanted some fresh air. Oh. And, I'm on the third floor. I start hearing some people yelling, Grayson, like they're yelling my name. And I was like, okay, that's a fairly common name. Like surely maybe someone else is getting yelled at right now. And then I'm still sitting there. It keeps happening. Like just Grayson. Like I'm like, what on earth? So I like kind of opened my blinds a little, peeked down there. Sure enough, man, there was 3 girls just sitting right under my window. Somehow knew exactly where my room was.
Dang.
And, you know, they were yelling for me, and I didn't say anything. But, you know, if you're out there listening to this, that was weird. I'm not going to lie.
Dude, I hate when that happens, bro. I hate when they come to my
all the
house
time,
and-
right?
Dude, it's the worst. It's the worst. But Grayson, Jake, why don't you talk about how many...
What are you gonna say, Max? Just say it. Just say it.
You got any girls or like what? As a yell leader? We've talked about this before. That's why.
I am single. I'm single. So this past year, I was the only single guy out of all 5 yell leaders, and I am right now. So I've been single since freshman year. So here we are. But I'm looking for a good quality girl, girl of the Lord. So no, I kind of going off of Grace said, like, the whole girl thing, like, it's at the end of the day, it's a huge responsibility. And like in the past, it's really easy as a yell leader to get your, I guess, reputation kind of tarnished. And that's definitely happened in the past with some yell leaders, and rumors get started real easily. But yeah, so it's a big responsibility, and it's really cool, I think, for Grace and I just to kind of show what godly men, how we are and how we live our life and how we want to treat women. And but going off that, some funny stories is so go out to Northgate every now and then, and this past for election night, we got elected. We were walking out of the chicken, and we just went going back home, and sure enough,
I wasn't with y'all for this.
Yeah, you weren't with this.
Yeah,
we walked by the corner, I think, and these 4 girls passed us, and then I'm leading everybody behind me, and they're like, they start freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I'm a yell leader, oh my, and then all of a sudden they see Thomas behind me, like, oh my gosh, there's another one. I'm like, awesome. Yeah, I think the funniest one, and like, I was by Shiner, and I was going home, and I saw someone who knew me. No, actually I didn't. There's like these 3 random drunk dudes, and they're like, yo, what's up, bro? You yell leader, right? I'm like, yeah, what's up, guys? And they started getting pictures with me and stuff, and all of a sudden, this girl like turns around and sees me, and then her jaw just drops. I'm like, hey. I'm like, what's up? And then she's like, starts freaking out, and her friend turns around and she does the same thing, and like, they're probably a little tipsy, so they probably kind of amplified the situation a little bit. But I mean, that does happen every now and then. But I think, so I'm kind of rambling on, but people like, do you get recognized a lot on campus, and like when you're going to class or whatnot? And it's like, not really, I would say. Like, we get a lot of double looks. Yeah. Especially like when you go to the dining halls with a lot of the freshmen and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll touch on what Jake was just talking about. It's a little deeper side of y'all. But, I think you are more in the public light a lot more than you even realize.
Y'all are I mean, y'all are basically celebrities at A&M. Y'all are like the 5 most famous, I feel, people at A&M. It's
so interesting, too, because it's like, it's so contained. Like, on campus, that might be true, but you go like 10 miles outside of town, nobody knows who you are. It's like so weird, like that concept. Anyway, people, the eyes are on you, and if you mess up, like, people are going to know. Yeah. And so you got to be very careful. You got to like live above reproach. We're both Christians, so we strive to like live by those morals. But anyway, like, even outside of that, like, people are going to know when you mess up, and you set an example like for all these people. And like, it's super cool to have that like influence, but it's also like a great responsibility that you got to take seriously. So that's something we try to do.
We all are good role models. Every time I hang out with y'all, we hang out and shooting something, like, it's always a good time. Yeah. Always laughing, having a good time.
For sure.
It was a great time.
Making fun of
Great
Jake.
time with you, Max.
Stop it.
We're going to play pickleball.
Oh, yeah, dude. We always say we're going to play pickleball.
We will.
Grace is
eventually.
putting in the work.
I have. I've been on the grind, for sure.
Are you good?
I'm all right.
So no?
Well, I guess we'll find out. Yeah.
Let's play after this.
Let's do it.
I mean, let's switch it up. Let's talk about Grayson. Before you were yell leader, you were Rev's handler, which is the crazy combination. Like, I don't know how you're just like get picked for all these like high level positions. I mean, you're a great guy, but like that's crazy. Rev handler and a yell leader, and you're probably like, you're a maroon coat too. You go with both maroon coats.
Yeah, dude. It's just kind of the people like places, right place, right time, I guess. But
what makes y'all like? Because you're definitely like special, unique in some way. Because like those are, I mean, getting maroon coat, getting yell leader, getting Rev's handler, like that's like high level stuff. What do you think? And you can be cocky a little bit. Like, what makes y'all like? What do you think makes you unique, and what's like right for these positions that are such high level here at A&M?
Dude, I think one thing is just being driven. Like being, willing to put yourself out there. First of all, like some people are too afraid, just to take the step and like actually go out for something. And I think that's huge. Like having enough self-confidence, but also like the mindset that like I'm gonna go out for this. Like it's honestly a low odds that I'm gonna get it, and if I don't, I'll be all right. But what if I do get it? For sure. So that driven aspect, and then also just like being a friendly person, going and meeting people, introducing yourself. I think being very open to like meeting new people, making new friends, and like those connections. You never know where they're gonna take you, and like that's
cool.
been huge for sure.
Yeah, I like what you said about like being driven, because my favorite quote, and also my clothing brand, and maybe the name of this podcast I haven't figured out yet, is "We live on a floating rock."
Come on now.
Which is like the possibility of us. It's basically impossible for us to even like be on this earth. Like it's 1 in 4 quadrillion billion dillion. I don't even know. But like, so if you're on this earth, like there's like a special reason why you're on this earth, and I feel like some people like they just let life happen to them, but like people like y'all are driven, like you're going out for things, like you're doing something through life, and that's why I want to interview y'all, because y'all are just like you're doing something special, you're driven. But yeah, what do you think about "We live on a floating rock"? What does that mean to you?
Man, I mean, kind of go off you said. It's like, like kind of what I said, like nothing's by accident in this. Like we're not just on a floating rock, It's like. Yeah. I believe there's a bigger purpose, and that's why we're here. And kind of going off that, like kind of like what you said earlier, it's like why we've been chosen for these positions. Like, I mean, in the day, I don't know why the Lord has allowed us to be in these positions, but I know He's given us a great opportunity. Yeah. And for us, like I know I speak for Grace and I, like it's opportunity of service. Like for me, growing up, part of my story is like my dad passed away from cancer, and what I learned from that is like, man, life is short. Yeah. Life is so short. So coming into college, I'm like, I just saw like people come in with the view, it's like this is 4 years, and it's like a selfish mindset. This is 4 years for me. And I came into college, I'm like, this is 4 years of a great opportunity to get involved, to get around campus, to make friends. And I mean, that's been my mindset, and that's kind of driven me and to make an impact and to leave a legacy while I'm here at A&M. So I think that's really driven us, and that's why we've allowed and been given these opportunities where we're at.
Oh, that was good. That's so good. I think that was deep. You got anything to add to that, or we can go into? I want to talk about Rev. Rev.
No, let's talk about that. That'd be good.
Bet. All right. Well, if y'all didn't know, Grayson was Rev's handler, and Rev is our mascot, but also our queen.
Our queen.
You can go into more depth of Rev. Go into more depth of Rev, and then like what it was like being her bestie for a year.
Yeah.
Hey, still is her bestie.
Still
I'm not lying.
We see each other. She likes me for sure.
Oh snap.
Yeah, no. So Reveille, like you were saying, is the mascot of Texas A&M, and if you don't know the history of that, so back in 1931, some members of the Corps of Cadets found a dog on the side of the road and brought her back to campus, and everyone was real mad about this because the dog was not allowed to be there, but they quickly fell in love with her, and ever since then we've had a dog, kind of as the queen of Aggieland. She is the highest ranking member of the Corps of Cadets. She outranks us two. Like she can tell us what to do, I guess, if she really wanted to, and what she says goes. Yeah. One funny thing is like if Reveille hops up on your bed at night, you have to leave. Like you have to find somewhere else to sleep. Like that's her bed, right?
Can you sleep on the floor, or can you?
I slept in her bed once.
Her
like
bed's really
it was pretty comfortable.
So y'all just switched?
Yeah,
so
we
just switched.
We did a little swap. I woke up with some hair on me, but it was all right. We worked out. Another fun one is that if she barks in class, the professor it's over because she's bored. Like she's barking, like the professor has to stop teaching and you get to leave. That was pretty fun.
Do you like poke her and make her like bark on
purpose? We don't talk about that one, but yeah, maybe. But anyway, so being her handler, I'm in company E2, like Jake said earlier, and that's like the company in the Corps of Cadets that gets to take care of Reveille, and we have since the 1950s. And every year a sophomore in the company is chosen to be her handler, and I had the privilege of doing that my sophomore year, and it was super fun. Honestly, like maybe the coolest part though was getting to take her home for an entire summer and just like chill with her at home. Like everyone sees her as this like almost like an idol here at Texas A&M, but at home she was just a normal dog, and you got to play with my dog, got to play with my sisters. It was a great time. But yeah,
that's super fun. What is it like walking around campus? Because I know I probably like 10 times a day I see people's stories, and it's like, oh my gosh, Rev, and then it's like Rev with the handler. Like, people double take. I know people take videos of you like.
It was so fun. Honestly, I really enjoyed just walking her around campus, even around town. People are, when you have her in your hand, like all eyes are on you, or more specifically, they're on your legs. You know, people said I had the most famous shoes in Aggie land, but you know, and everyone's videoing too. Like in this modern social media age, everyone is videoing. It's funny because some people try to be like sneaky. You know, they'll hold their phone like this and like, I know you're videoing me. Like you don't have to do that, but it was awesome, dude. And maybe my favorite part, honestly, of the whole job was just seeing people's face light up when they saw her, you know, come around a corner or walk into their classroom. Like that was super cool.
What's been your favorite Revs handler or being a yell leader?
Dude, it's just so different. That's hard for me to say because as Revs handler, you know, you're stewarding something that is so important to the university, and the attention's not really on you as the handler. You know, it's more on the dog, and it's more of like, how can I best represent Reveille to these people? Whereas as a yell leader, like the eyes are actually more on you, which there's good and bad to both for sure. Like it's a little more, you know, exhausting being a yell leader, trying to put up that image a lot, I think. But it's also good because I think you do have more influence on people. Like you're able to make more of an impact, build those like personal relationships. And in that aspect, I have enjoyed yell a lot, like actually getting to meet people, talk to them, and like go deeper than just like letting them take a picture with Reveille, you know? So
yeah. I mean, and y'all do, what's crazy is y'all are at everything. Every event at A&M, y'all are like 1, 2, all of y'all are just there. How many events do y'all go to like a week? And how do you even like, what does your schedule look like being a yell leader? Because I know it's crazy.
Yeah, so we do around 350 to 400 events a year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's scheduled events. So we do like stuff like in the summer is our busiest time of the year. We live here during the summer, but we'll do like dinners with like President Welsh or different people around Texas A&M, former yell leaders. So that's really cool. The more personal aspect of being a yell leader. But going back to what you said, I mean, the weeks just depend. Like fall, we are busy. It's really just football, midnight yell. You're preparing the week of, you're meeting, going over your speeches, making sure you got it down, going over logistics. So, I mean, you can have anywhere from a couple events a week to like 15 events a week. So it really just depends.
That's crazy because I've shot like events where y'all are out there too, and you're like, you just came from class, like you're changing real fast in your whites and you're running over there. How do you like balance being a yell leader and school and like your social life? And I bet there's a million other things y'all are balancing right now.
Yeah. As far as school, you know, I honestly work better in school when I'm busier. That's weird and it might not make sense, but you know, whenever I have a short amount of time to get something done, you know, I'm more likely to actually go and knock it out rather than if I have like, you know, 3 days with nothing going on and I could do it whenever, like I'm probably going to get distracted and, you know, go do something else. So I like, honestly, since I've been busier, like my grades have been better, which is kind of weird, but it's kind of how my brain works, I guess. I don't know.
Are you smart?
Yes, he's very smart.
Smart at some things.
I'm not going to brag on him, but he's really smart.
What's your major?
Civil engineering. So.
Yep, checks out.
Yeah. What was the other part of that question? Social life too. You know, that's a little trickier at times, but you know, you do have to absolutely make time for yourself. Make time to take a step back, go hang out with friends, go do something fun. Because you know, if you're only doing yell, only doing school, like you're gonna get bogged down in the grind for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to touch on that part?
Yeah. I just want to add something on to what Grayson said. Like, people like to use the word busy, but the word I like to use is priorities. Like priorities. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. When someone says they don't have like time to get lunch or something, I'm like, okay,
bro. That's what I always, dude. I made a video about like I hate when people say I don't have time to like work out.
Yeah, it's like okay, it's not a priority of yours.
Yeah,
and it's like Grace and I, like one of our initiatives is like every week we probably get lunch with like 1 or 2 new people we never met.
Oh dang.
I mean, that's just expanding our Aggie network and just making personal connections. So priorities is the big thing. So whether it be with Yell or we're involved in stuff off campus as well. So I mean we're pulled in a lot of different directions, but I mean when you have a passion for everything, it's easy to do it. School's hard sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah.
No, I think what Jake just said is absolutely huge. Like, not to like be boastful or anything, but Jake and I, like, realistically are probably 2 of the busiest people in College Station, and yet we still do make time to like meet those people, to actually be intentional with those people. And some advice that we both got recently was to never waste a meal. And I think that's so huge. Like, you have to eat no matter what, right? Like, you're going to spend those 30 minutes eating. Like, you're either going to be, sitting there watching a YouTube video, or you could be sitting there getting to know somebody. And I think that's something that we've both tried to invest in, is like inviting someone to go get a meal, inviting someone to go, play pickleball, go do whatever. Like, you can still have fun and like invest in those people. So that's been huge.
That's super cool. It's like, because I feel like if I was a yell leader, I would have the biggest head. I would be so cocky. I'd be like, yeah, I'm a yell leader. Like, what's up? Like, you want a signature? You want an autograph? Like, let's take a photo.
Yeah.
But like, y'all are so humbled, and I feel like, y'all just serve this university so well that it's kind of crazy. Because if I was put in your position, I would probably be the cockiest person at A&M. But I mean, so it's cool that like, y'all just like go to lunch with people, meet new people, and like I feel like y'all always have time for like anything I ask you to do, whether it's like film this video for this organization or something. Like, y'all are always down, which is super cool.
Yeah, I'll add on to that real quick. It's easy like, even for us, like at times it's like it's easy to get a big head, and like you gotta humble yourself and recognize that you were elected for this position and that you're here to serve A&M. And I know one of my greatest joys while being a yell leader is being able to interact with former students, current students, or even if it's just like a little kid who comes up to you and like seeing the wonder in their eyes, they look up on you, and it's not who you are, it's not who Jake or Grayson is, but it's the uniform that you have on and the responsibility you have in that. So, I mean, when people come up to us, want to take pictures, or like what I appreciate is like when people like they have like the boldness to come up to us like when we're not in uniform and like introduce themselves. And some people might think that's a little weird, and I mean, we've had a few weird interactions when someone's saying the war hymn to Grayson while he's eating lunch. Anyway, but I really do appreciate that. So yeah,
that's super cool. What like motivates you to be so driven? What do you think? Is it like your serving aspect, or like why are you waking up every morning and doing what you're doing?
Deep.
Come on now. I want to get deep on here.
Dude, I really think it's just like I realized I don't have that much time. Not like in this life. Like, it's very short. I remember being in like a freshman in high school, and it feels like a couple days ago, and that was almost 8 years ago. And that's kind of wild. Like, you think back on stuff like that and you're like, okay, it goes by in a blink. What am I going to do to make the most of it? Like, I can, play video games or take a nap or whatever, but that time I could have been used like bettering myself, bettering other people, or just like, I don't know, investing in those around you. And it kind of scares me, honestly, like realizing I don't have that much time in this life to, do all the things that I want to do, but also it pushes me, to do as much of it as I can. So
that's super cool. Yeah. What have you always been like your childhood and stuff? Have you always been this driven, or kind of take me like to your childhood, and also like as a child, like did you ever go to A&M football games and you're like, whoa, like I want to be a yell leader? Did you ever go to the kid midnight yells, or not midnight yells, the kid yells like before the game? Like, when did you realize you want to become a yell leader?
Yeah, dude. So I think maybe one of my very earliest memories in life was being in Kyle Field. Both parents went to A&M. So when I was younger, we lived in Lubbock, which is about 8 hours away from College Station. We would make that drive almost every weekend to go to the football games. We were pretty diehard, bleeding maroon for sure. And, I do remember seeing the yell leaders for sure. And I was like, I don't think I understood it, but I thought they were super cool. I did those like kid yell practice like you were talking about, and just growing up, like finally getting here to A&M, I think the first time I really realized like, okay, I could see myself doing this was when I was Rev's handler. I like on game days, we're in the same locker room as the yell leaders, and I realized like, wow, these guys are really cool. They're actually down to earth guys who like you don't realize at the time because you kind of like idolize them in a way, but like they're actually cool guys that are doing service to this university, and that's something that I'm passionate about, and I could see myself doing it. So really it wasn't until sophomore year when I really thought about doing it. So
I like what you said about I'll ask you, but y'all have a locker room in Kyle Field.
Yeah. The
yell leader locker room. What goes down in the yell leader locker room? I've been there a few times. Feel pretty special in there. It's a little secret lair. What goes down there in between games, or like, do y'all ever just go there and chill?
Ethan Davis, he's one of the other seniors. We call him the third wheel. He's only in it for a year. He got a dartboard this year for our locker room. And so we really don't spend a lot of time in there at all,
So unless it's on game days. In between in halftime?
Not really halftime. We don't have time during halftime, but like before game, we're kind of, shooting the darts and good bowling and talking with reps handler and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, the locker room's great. I mean, they feed us before games. They give us some meals, have a stocked fridge.
Oh, dang.
We've talked about getting an Xbox in there or something. We might have to when the new NCAA game comes out this summer. But one of my favorite memories in the locker room was when you brought your, Apple Vision Pro. And we were looking at the dinosaurs on Mars or whatever it was. But
we were filming some 5 for Y'all campaign stuff. Right afterwards, I bought the Apple Vision Pros. I sadly returned them because they're very expensive and there was no reason to have them. But Jake was like, bro, I want to try them on. I was like, okay, after we film this, like, we'll go to your locker room because, like, y'all really couldn't be seen with them on, like, because you had your whites on. Because y'all can't, like, you can't, I heard a thing, like, you can't really be on your phones and stuff and your whites just because you don't want the image to go out there of y'all, like.
Yeah, just not a great look, but.
Yeah, but y'all had, so we went in the locker room, kind of hidden, and y'all tried out my Apple Vision Pros and your whites, and I thought it was so funny.
Those are pretty funny videos.
Grayson, yeah, there's some videos. Maybe I'll put it on the podcast. I probably can't.
Don't include the audio.
Don't do the audio. But you put my Apple Vision Pros and you were just like walking around on Mars in the locker room, and Jake.
And I was interacting with dinosaurs, and it almost ate me.
Yeah, y'all try the Apple Vision
Pros.
Pros.
That was crazy.
Yeah, Jake was like freaking out, and me and Gracie were just like chilling in the couch. Like,
I mean, you're sitting right there, and there's a dinosaur in the middle of y'all about to eat me. What do you want me to do?
I'm gonna put a video on the podcast so they can see.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then the butterfly. Remember the butterfly? Yeah. I'm just flying around. I thought it landed on my finger.
There's like an interactive thing where there's like a big dinosaur and it's scary, but at the beginning there's like a butterfly. And then Jake was like, "Oh, it's so cute, butterfly."
Yeah, and it landed on my finger. Like, what? That's crazy.
It is crazy. I need to buy them again. Maybe when they get cheaper.
Yeah, maybe.
But Jake, why don't you tell about like your childhood? Like, when did you want to become a Yell leader? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, first generation Aggie. Whoop. Here with my twin sister, Maddie Carter. She's in Chi Omega here, and so first gen Aggies. My dad was a T-SIP. Yes, I know, but so I had no inkling of A&M or wanting to go here growing up at all. And I remember when the time for college came around, really what it came down to, I was going to go play college football and be a kicker punter.
You're gonna play college football?
Yeah, at Southwestern, so a small school.
Is that D3?
It was D3. I could have gone probably up to D2, but I really just didn't go explore that route. Well, no, you know what happened was
tell me. You're about to be a student athlete.
No, I know. I went to a small private school. We got moved up to 6A in Texas, and we were the small 6A school in Texas. So of course we just got trampled by all these schools. So I only had 3 field goal attempts. Oh yeah, I'm just going to rant now. I was 3 for 3 on field goals, and then I was 24 or 25 on PATs. My last PAT ever, my right blocker didn't block, and it got blocked.
Dang.
Anyway, that's a rant. But so anyway. Yeah, I was like, man, what am I going to do? But my dad actually encouraged my twin sister and I to go to A&M, despite going to TU, but that he saw the value and how special the school was, and I think his university's changed quite a bit since he's been there. So that's kind of what drove me to come to A&M, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure, let's do this, and decided to do the core. Kind of wanted to challenge myself, do something new. Kind of like you said before, like I've always kind of been driven, been involved in student government, sports, whatnot, in high school and stuff. So I wanted to do that coming in, and then the Yell leaders. I was like, who are these guys? Like I remember my new student conference, went there with my mom. The Yell leaders came out at the end, and I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, from the outside, what is it from the outside looking in? You don't understand.
Yeah, from the inside.
From the...
Okay, now you're making me think.
It's from the inside looking out, you can't explain it, but outside looking in, you can't understand it.
There you go. Yeah.
That's deep breath. Yeah.
So anyway, I was like, man, who are these guys? But I realized quickly that it was a position of service. And people just think that we just do athletic events and all this stuff, but it's a lot more than that. So I was encouraged by a lot of people to go out for the position, and I was like, it kind of aligned with my goal of serving people. Because in the day, people are the mission. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And 5 for Yell. Before I got on that, I was like, I kept getting further in the process, and I was like, the Lord was faithful, and before you knew it, I was standing in the front of the 12th man statue on election night and heard my name called, and here we are today.
Wow. Boom. There we go. I kind of, I don't want to brag, but I was the mascot at my high school.
You were? Wait, I've never heard this.
Yeah, you know
I never heard this.
Bro,
no.
I wore, you want to see a photo?
Yes. Wait, well, what were y'all?
We were the Highlanders, so me and my friend Grayson, we wore kilts. So basically,
That is
skirts.
awesome.
Y'all didn't know this?
Oh
I never
no,
showed you?
I gotta
No.
see this.
This was a.
No
this is our mascot.
No shot. Why have I
So I was
never
basically
known
like,
this?
not that you're like y'all are mascots. I mean, kind of basically, I don't know. But yeah, so
That's crazy.
I was
Spirit
basically yell leader
ambassadors.
before y'all were yell leader. But yeah, so I wore that skirt every football game and basketball game, and
So would you just like just get up?
I would
jump
get
up and down and
yeah,
just get
I
hyped?
would raw them. But yeah, maybe I would. Sometimes I would write a message on the like underside.
Like a whiteboard?
Yeah, underside of the skirt, and then I would like flash the other crowd.
No
I had
way.
shorts on and
No
everything,
way.
but like they're like to have a message under it.
That's pretty
It was
funny.
pretty fun because
That's
I did
pretty
it.
funny.
I did it with my best friend Grayson Brock, and it was like kind of what y'all are doing. I mean, y'all are like 5 best friends.
Yeah.
So it was pretty fun doing it with your friend, and so that was like I guess a glimpse of what it's like to be a yell leader. But I did it. I didn't do it to serve. I just did it because I love attention, and I mean I don't know. So that's where
I love how
did
you
it.
recognize that,
Yeah,
Max.
it was less of a serve. Oh, because I didn't do all these events. We just went to football games and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah, it was more for me and my friend Grayson than
How
anyone
big was
else.
your high school?
I went to the Woodlands High School, so
Oh,
we
Woodlands,
graduated
okay.
with like 1,100 kids in my grade.
Dang, see, mine was 93 graduating.
93?
91. Nope, 89. It kept getting cut down because some kids got kicked out. But you know.
89.
Grayson was smaller.
I was.
Wow, bro,
Yeah.
what?
I don't even know. Mine was in the 30s or something like that.
In your grade?
Dude, we both private school boys. There was no one there.
Bro, how's that like going from like a private school with like 30
Oh.
or 50 to Texas A&M where there's like 70,000?
I enjoyed both. The smaller aspect is cool, but like, if you do anything, everyone at that school is gonna know it. You
The
know?
drama. And
Oh, the
part of it.
drama
my
is
God.
wild.
Y'all getting high school drama? Like a funny story? I know Jake has one.
I'm sure I do. I don't know if I want to share it. I don't. I gotta think. You know, I'm kind of exited that part of my life, Max. I'm not really going back to high school.
That's hype. Okay, well, we'll wrap this up, but I want to hear like y'all's future plans. So after yell leader, like what do you want to do with your life? I mean, you're on the right track to freaking become the president. But like what's your future plans? Like what does life entail for y'all?
Well, mostly my future plans are getting through the next day, but looking more forward, you know, I'm civil engineering, so I'd love to one day own my own engineering firm, you know, back home in the hill country of Texas, like Austin area maybe. Yeah, a shame, but I'm going to try to make Austin a little better maybe, you know, like see what we can
Come
do.
on now.
There we go.
Anyway, I want to get into development, like kind of see, you know, how we can make the area that we're blessed to live in better, and that's kind of my goal, and keep serving people in any way I can, hopefully have a family. Keep serving God. That's the goal.
Well, I just switched majors.
Really? What was it?
Finance.
And now you're
I was
two.
not a finance bro, Max. I was not.
no spreadsheets.
I did not speak the language.
Oh no.
I did not.
I couldn't see you wearing a corduroy vest.
Dude, I cannot
Go
be
to
one of
your
those
9 to
guys
5.
in New York or something. I just could
So
not.
what are you doing now? What's your major?
So I switched to management, entrepreneurship track, and with a minor in economics. You know, my life plans are kind of week by week migration, just kind of really just honestly living in this moment. And as much as I don't like to say it, I mean, my major is Texas A&M, and
there we go.
I've fully accepted
So
that.
true.
And this is because, I mean, truly the Aggie network is incredible.
It is.
And, I mean, I've just seen people's lives change because of the network. And, I mean, with the roles that we have amazing connections. So, I know that we'll both be blessed with the great opportunities following this. So, I don't know what I want to do after college. I don't know. But I know my strong suit is with people. I love people and making an impact. So, my dad owned his own business, oil and gas. Don't want to do oil and gas. It's a hard business, but maybe, hopefully one day own my own business, whatever that looks like. So, I know you're an entrepreneur yourself, Max, so maybe I'll get some tips from you.
There we go. Let's get lunch. Never
Let's
skip
get
a
lunch.
meal.
Never skip a meal.
Yeah, are you excited to get your Aggie rings?
Yeah, we're getting them this week.
Yeah,
Really?
this week.
Or I
both
guess
of
next
us.
week, right?
Yeah.
Oh, excited. That's the Aggie
Coming
network
up.
right there, the Aggie ring.
That Aggie gold.
That has
I
not hit me
never-
to get my Aggie Gold yet.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know, Texas A&M, getting your ring is like a big deal. When you hit 30 hours or 30 credits,
90 hours.
90 hours.
Unless you're a transfer student, then it's different.
Yeah, well, I'll never get my ring because I left school. But
How many hours were you away, Max?
I was a year and a half into school. Right now I would be a junior, but so I was a sophomore.
So you need like another year and a half, basically.
Yeah, but I don't know. I looked on eBay, and you can buy Aggie
No way.
rings for like $100. So if I really
there's
need
no
it,
way. The gold is worth more than that.
yeah, I know. That's why I don't think I would ever buy it on eBay because I know it means so much to people, and I
Yeah.
never finished. But I hopefully involved in the Aggie Network and doing stuff for y'all.
You
For
are.
sure.
You
You're
are.
more part of it than a lot
Everybody
of
knows
people.
Max's name. And I'm like, man, who's that Max guy? She saw your videos. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's the man.
There we go. All right. Well, thank y'all for coming on the potty. Yeah.
Let's do it again.
It's been a
When
blast.
this thing blows up eventually, right?
Yeah, when I have like a million followers.
Yeah. And when
redo
you're
it.
working with David Dobrik.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I got some.
Coming
yeah.
soon.
We should talk. We'll head up on that another time.
Okay.
But one other thing, y'all do. So yell leaders, people think that you get paid to be a yell leader, but you don't, which is pretty
No.
cool. You get free tuition though, right?
So, yes. So a couple years ago, Association of Former Yell Leaders, a big initiative of theirs was to get most of our tuition paid for. So in the recent years, we get pretty much most of our tuition paid for, not all of it, but just about all of it paid for after our other scholarships are taken out. So that's a huge blessing. When I call my mom, like, Mom, we get pretty much free tuition, she was jumping off the wall. So no, you're welcome, Mom. But
I mean, y'all deserve it. Y'all do so much for this university, so getting free tuition, I feel like, is the least of what you can do. Sweet. Well, thank y'all for coming on.
Thank you for having us. It's been awesome.
Awesome time.
Sweet. Y'all some homies for show, for shizzles. See y'all next time.
So yeah, peace. Gig 'em.